All right, now, the big $64 million question, and this is why our political leaders get paid the big bucks. It's the juggling act between ensuring the safety and the health of our nation because of this insidious virus against the difficulties attached to the fiscal narrative, and that is that so many people are out of work and we're heading into what the Australian is referring to as the worst year since the Great Depression. Let's have a look at that story. The Great Lockdown to fight COVID-19 will cost the world economy $9 trillion. I'll repeat that, $9 trillion, and trigger a decline in global output 30 times greater than during the global financial crisis, according to the International Monetary Fund predictions for the worst year since the Great Depression. And of course, I might just say, Ollie, and I think Adam Crichton is doing some terrific work in his analysis pieces for the Oz. He's saying what a lot of people are thinking, and that is governments will never know how many lives they've saved by prompting the Great Lockdown, which will shortly tip the world into the biggest economic contraction since the Great Depression. But we should all hope it's a lot. He's basically saying, Ollie, gee, this has been a big overreach and we are sending the world, the country, into the greatest economic recession since 1929. Maybe we've overstretched. But that's Adam's opinion. Others don't share that, obviously.
It's tough, isn't it, Gleeso? And good on Adam for writing those columns, which is exactly what you'd expect from him. I mean, you see today that Spain is allowing some of its manufacturing workforce to get back to the factories. It's been flagged in other parts of the world, like France, that May 11, the schools and the daycares will reopen. Now, again, I hark back to the scenes that we have viewed here on Sky News out of Spain and Italy and France and some of these European nations, the UK as well, of course. And it scares you, to be perfectly honest, Lee. So I look at that and just cannot believe the numbers, the statistics and the overrun of these hospitals. They're talking about getting back to work. They're talking about getting back to school. And here we are in Australia where we haven't seen those scenes. You can walk into a hospital at the moment and there are doctors and nurses twiddling their thumbs because a lot of elective surgery has, of course, been cancelled and the run on hospital resources has not been there at the moment. That is the best possible outcome and decision for the health of Australians that anyone could ever have imagined. And again, going back 2 weeks ago, we didn't know that this would be the case and we don't know what 2 weeks' time will look like. But there has to come a time as well where Scott Morrison and his National Cabinet does say, and obviously those conversations will be front and centre of the discussions on Thursday, what can we reopen? What can we get back doing? And if you're looking to France and Spain and Italy starting to say we need to turn the cogs of the wheel in our economies, well, what are we doing here in Australia? And those stats you just revealed as well, Glee. So I think some of the Finns analysis indicates, GDP dropping to the levels of effectively wiping out the German and the Japanese economies, as an example. That's how far backwards we are going to go after this. And you don't just get off the end of the bridge, as the Prime Minister likes to say. We get to the end of the bridge, but when we get there, Glee, so it's not as though we turn the lights back on and everything goes back to normal. This is going to have a massive, massive hit on our country and the global economy for many, many years to come.